this place or we'll be late.
Make a left on Astrology Avenue. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant right. It should be right here at 444 Spearway. Oh, turn!
It looks like Renee. Yay, we're on time. The James and Kelly Show.
Great, let's start the show. Hi, everybody! Hello, welcome to Both Sides Now. Well, my background just fell off. My doggy's here. Hi, everybody. I'm here with Pearl. Pearl's my dog. Pearl, come here. Come here. Say hi. Say hi. This is Pearl. Say hi to everybody. Hi, kisses. Okay. All right, go get your Boney. Go get your Boney. We've been dressing up my set. So, how are you guys? Nice to be here with you. And let's see. I just want to see the comments. I have my glasses on. It's been a crazy kind of day, and it's not over yet. We're still running around. What are you eating now? We're going to do puppy sitting. Pearl, come. Pearl, come. Go, you bitty. We'll see what she ends up eating by the end of this session. Oh, she's got that. Okay, she has a little thing. I'm on puppy watch. Kelly's still on vacation, taking some time off. And I want to say first hello to everybody. Hi, Melinda. Nice. You love it, though. Thank you. Hi, Mary Alice in Virginia Beach. Lori, good to see you from Arizona. Karen King, puppy. 6. Oh, she's what do you want? We got to show it, too. It's not time for lovins. That's what I love. So I don't know if a lot of you remember Maisie, but part of Maisie is in Pearl. Look at she wants to be on the show. She's my co-host tonight. Say hi, and you got to go 9-9. You got to send your Betty bye. Okay, good job. There you go. Okay. Oh my gosh, puppy. I know, you say hi. You want to come and say hi? Okay, come on. Oh. So this is Pearl. And you can see who wins in this house. This is Pearl. She's an Australian Shepherd, and she's watching you. She sees your name's changing, and she watches TV with me, and she's the first time on the show. So welcome. Now you gotta go. Okay, go night. Go to Betty. Go to Betty. We gotta talk to people. She might just throw things around there. Okay, she's so cute. Thank you. Okay, go down. Good night. Go to your Betty. Go to your Betty. Sometimes. There she goes, her Betty. Oh my gosh. Yeah, she goes to doggy daycare during the day. And about 2:30 in the afternoon, she comes home. And she was the doggies all day. And then in the afternoon, I bring her to a dog park or go to a beach with her. And she's full of energy. So I tried getting all the energy out of her, but it's hard for a 6-month puppy. So bear with me. I want her to be with me. Thank you. She's a real sweetheart. She's a real beautiful energy. Just doesn't know anything but love. So it's really, I feel honored. Hi, Lisa Sanders. Hi, Marion Aldi. Kelly's been resting on vacation. She's been really getting more of her energy back, which is great because she was overworking. And I told her to take next week off, and I might take it off too because now I'm just overworking. So we'll see what happens. But we'll see. It's great. It's been great. Blanche Warfield, hello. Felly, I'm not doing mediumship tonight. Pearl's watching, ready to jump on you. Have more kisses. I know, but she can't because if we say more kisses, she'll definitely kisses. She'll fall asleep. She has her bony bone over there, and she has ribbon or something she's eating. What are you eating now? No, you can't have that. No. Oh, you're eating a collar. Sorry, these things happen. Okay. Anyway, Kelly wanted me to talk to everybody about the astrology for October. And if you go to her website, you should check it out because there's so much on it that's going on this month that I would not give it justice if I was to say what's going on. So Kelly, I know you're watching, but there's a lot there. So I would, for people, you go to the website, kellywhite.com. And meanwhile, Pearl will be sleeping. Yeah. So a lot happened in October. If you thought August, September was a trip, whoa, the ride isn't over yet. So October. It's good to rest your batteries. Yes. And I insisted Kelly does that. And then maybe I'll take a little vacation. Um, so tonight's show, I wanted, this does give us an opportunity to have people share with us the space. And this next guest I'm going to have on is someone who's an earth angel, I guess. And every time I try to give description to her, it's kind of limiting. Like when the spirit people talk about the realms and the dimensions that they're at, it's they can't really describe it. And that's how I feel about my next guest. Dinavia Serro. I met Dinavia. Gosh, she'll tell you how many years ago, but it was a moment I saw her. I felt this energy from her. You will tonight, I guarantee it. And she is. I even just titled anyone that she's telling me about Life Transformer isn't really that. It's more than that. So I want to just bring her on and have you feel her energy. Dinavia Serro. Dinavia, please come on. There she is. Hi.
Hello.
The same background too.
Oh, look at this.
So this is Dinavia, and Dinavia. Well, first of all, how we met each other. How many years ago was that?
Oh my gosh, James. Okay, so I believe it's about 8 years, 8 or 9. We're going on the 9th year, actually. Yep.
And it's kind of a weird thing because I was doing a workshop down in Encinitas, California, at Seaside Center,
Yes.
and tell people the story about that.
Yeah, so I was an attendee to one of your. I think you had a reading there, and
with
yeah,
Lynn
and then afterwards I was able to chat with you and have you to myself for a second, and we just interacted, and just I think at that point we melded our energies, and you said to me, Dinavia, you have to come to Costa Mesa. You have to come to the next workshop. And that's exactly what I did. I went home, I signed up for the workshop, and it was like a 3-day long. I think, was it 3 days, James?
It was a 3-day intuitive workshop with Lynn Probert.
Yes. So that was wonderful. And Lynn was incredible as well. I can't wait to see her again.
And Lynn said to me, it's not to interrupt her, but Lynn said to me, and we meet many people, and that was 7 or 8 years ago, 9 years ago. And Lynn Probert said to me, she rarely will say this to me. She said, that lovely lady with the brown hair, she's very special. I said, yeah, she was very, very nice. She goes, I really like her. Now, she rarely says that. And then we did the workshop up there with Lynn, and
yes,
he said to me, you should move to Encinitas because that's where I live. It's a real nice place. And I've never been.
Because you were looking to move, I believe. You said, yeah, I think I'm going to be moving. And I said, well, you should come down to San Diego. I specifically live in Encinitas. But what I didn't say, this is the kicker, everyone. This is amazing. What I didn't say was that I resided in a certain part of Encinitas named Leeuwenhoek.
Yeah.
And that was incredible because you want to take it from there?
Like years after that, or a year after that, and I ended up, and we didn't really keep in touch. We didn't really know each other. We didn't keep in touch.
No.
And then what happened was, oh my God, go to Betty. And then what happened was, I ended up moving 2 blocks from Dinavia. 2 blocks from Dinavia. I mean,
blown away.
What are the odds?
And how we found that out was I had attended another workshop in Encinitas, and we compared notes as well. I said, oh, you moved to Encinitas? You're like, oh, I said, I live in Encinitas. You remember? Yes, of course, I live in here. And you said, oh, so do I. And that was that. So it was very
my life changed forever.
What was that, honey?
And my life changed forever.
And so did mine.
And people ask often, they'll say, when they meet you, and Dinavia and I are good friends now, and we go out occasionally, and I'll introduce her people, or we go to an event, whatever, and people inevitably will say, everyone, she's such a beautiful energy from the inside out. My brother fell in love with you, as we know, everybody does. And I said, like, what is it about? And it's a special spark that you have, and as people just saying, you and I'm so happy that you use that energy to change people's life and shifting the awareness of people. Yes. So explain to people what one of your abilities is, which you do extremely well. And you've changed many people's lives for, incredibly so, that I don't know how many people write to you and just say, you've changed my life, but a lot of people
quite
over years, and tell people, it's like, I know what you do.
Okay, so firstly, I've just been given, this, whenever I meet a person or, just connect in every way, I meet them exactly where they are, who they are, and I want to know that. Because to me, I'm not a surface dweller. I sort of want to go in there and I feel you. So that is something that I've always had as a gift. And then throughout my history, being a personal trainer, working with people directly through that platform, and then going into speaking and writing an author and all that, I was able to really connect with people on another level because it was personalized and it was directed. So I look at that little precious
You
one,
want to be part of the shift.
right? So I just, everything was
So what
based
did
around
stop
trans.
you by saying when you first, like, even when you were doing coaching with people on a training people, you always were able to see who they really were
Yes,
on
and
a
what they
soul
needed.
level and what
Yes.
their patterns were, what their behaviors were. And wouldn't you call people on some of their stuff and they would be able to take it because you were right? You were right there.
Well, I mean, being that I'm a Scorpio, I'm pretty
That's
straightforward to
right.
begin with. So, and I am that way, and I like to be very authentic and honest whenever I show up. So with that, seeing what they needed and being able to hear and feel what they needed, I was able to come up with certain things to help them along. And I also furthered my training with that and my authorship and went into NLP training, which is neuro linguistic programming. I'll explain that a little later. And I've been given just this beautiful platform to connect with people on a transformational level, which has been nothing but rewarding and still is to this day, just filling my heart.
Davia is, I mean, she's being very humble, but she's extremely intuitive. And we are promoting one of my classes in my promotional tape because you were so amazing, my classes. But she's using her intuitive skills as well as her even skills or personality skills to really see where people are at in their lives. And there's so
Yeah,
many people say, why is this not happening? Why am I stuck? What am I learning from this? What am I supposed to do? When is going to happen to me? And that's, you move on in and you help them
yeah,
see who they are and say
right.
what's holding you back, right? What
Yeah.
patterns are you repeating? What's not happening for you and why?
That's exactly what I do. And with the platform, if I have a chance to work with you, we go through a highly personalized, pinpointed program based on what's happening in your sphere, in your life. We look at your life zones. I look at your life zones.
Tell us about the life zones. You mentioned that to me the other day. Tell about the life zones. I love that.
Yeah. Okay. So if you could picture like a circle and you have, pi, different areas. So you would have, let's say, work life, your relationships, money, income, anything extracurricular in your life. So anything that is in your life zone that is very important to you, and that is the category that we're working with. And then I'm able to go in and optimize whatever areas that you want optimized with you. And I go in there and, well, we go in together basically. And based on the
It's very
principle
sacred.
of
What you do is, can I just say, sorry to interrupt you, but it's such a sacred space you
it
create.
it
It's
is, and it's highly personalized, and it's very hard to be specific about it because it's dynamic and it changes. So based on NLP, I'm able to really go in to what your brain mapping looks like and start to dissect and deconstruct together what needs to be deconstructed in order to, get to the higher levels of where you need to be. And that process is a very highly personalized and interesting process because you see immediate results as you go along. It's not like you have to wait to the end. Well, you are waiting for the end, but they are measurable with every single step of the way. Um,
how far when you start doing it? How often do you find that the person's ego gets in the way?
oh my
Or
gosh, every day, all the time,
yeah,
because there's a bit of resistance. The ego wants to be comfortable. We want comfort. And
right.
sometimes when you dive into areas that are concealed within yourself, it doesn't feel that comfortable, and they begin to become revealed to you, and then you say, oh my gosh, I don't feel comfortable with that, and then you start to pull back. But that's when I need you to really sit in there and just get cozied up with that, because through that we're able to really get to the bottom line of what it is that you need to do, and therefore create a blueprint in which you can now find a new way of existing, with a new paradigm, if you will.
Well, because people live in the comfort zone for many times, don't they? They like to be comfortable. And if I can just say, you gently push them or open them up to seeing things in a little bit different perspective. But you also help them, and this is one I've said many, many times. The hardest part of me being a medium is I see people's potential and they don't see it for themselves. And you do that with them in a way where you help them to gleam
Yes,
into their potential in a
yes,
loving way.
in a
And
loving way. And they start to
yeah,
see themselves from an empathetic point of view, because it's very excellent that you brought that up. NLP, neuro linguistic programming, enables you to take different perspectives and not so you can disassociate with the character and therefore find solutions and ways to address certain things, but from a non-personal standpoint. And then you begin to reveal to yourself what's already locked in here, that's been in here for so long. Now it's coming forward. And it's like, oh, wow, that's really happening with me. I came up with that by myself, because I'm not here to tell you how to do something.
yeah,
You have all of the answers within yourself. And I'm helping you extract those answers. I'm the passenger in the car that you're driving. And we're taking this journey together. And I'm helping you along the way, staying within the guidelines. But it is a journey that you are taking, and you are the lead. And I am here
you're
to
helping
help.
them to help themselves.
Oh, yeah, you have to.
You-
That's what it's all about.
You're giving them back that power. Some people have lost it along the way, and you,
Oh,
in a beautiful way, and an empathetic way, and a sensitive way, you really help them to get back to their own power, and you help them where they left, and the patterns. You help them break patterns, right?
absolutely. And that is the most rewarding thing. I think let's look at a junk drawer at home. If we clean out a junk drawer at home, don't we feel good about that drawer when we pass it? It's like the energy has changed a little bit
So
on
true.
it. It's like when you do that with yourself, you sort of unravel and get rid of things that no longer are serving you, and you feel phenomenal.
Yeah,
You feel
very, very
phenomenal
true.
about it, and you feel really empowered. And that's the whole thing here, to find your own empowerment and your own path that you feel that you can walk on very sturdily, even though it's new.
And
Steady.
that people your clients work with, that the certain obstacles or blockages that they have, are they some that are similar, and what
I
kind of
would say the
obstacles?
topics are similar. Some topics are similar, but the way one processes that
Yeah.
topic is entirely different.
Okay.
So that is, one thing that's fascinating for me. I really get to see different ways of how people approach, whatever it is they need to unearth, and it's quite interesting, because it's very highly personalized, and you have success with that. Um,
And do you find that many people go back to childhood traumas, or have been instilled in the child means a lot, or
Yes, because oftentimes that is like the root of a lot of these fluctuations of the mind, if you will.
yeah,
A lot of that is rooted in our earlier conditioning.
sure.
So sometimes we might have to go into certain areas just to pull stuff out, but we don't really hang out there too much. It's more like a deconstruction of your thought about it.
And something which I'm so in alignment with you with a certain thing. When I tell my clients and people that, when you're on this earth, you got to live out if your experiences. Life is about every moment and living it fully, and you don't want to pass over to the other side. Because I wrote a book about it called Unfinished Business. You do not want to pass over to the other side and have any should have, would haves, or could haves.
Right.
And that's really important. Like, and what you do is you help them, you help people not have those should haves, would haves, or could haves.
Yeah, that is something that's, I think as we are humans in this psychosomatic body, we have a limited time here. And we don't want to get to an age where it's like, oh my gosh, I really should have done something else. I've read, I think it was like Blue Zone,
Yeah,
uh, people who have lived a long time on this earth. And a lot of things they're saying is you have to live to your fullest, whatever dream you have or whatever it is, go there
yeah.
and try to do that, because again, it's discomfort. It's a little bit of a discomfort to try to try something new, but if you stay with it long enough, you be your best friend through that all, you're going to really come up with a nice way of existing, and a happy way, an authentically happy way, because nothing is outside of you. Everything is from within, and what you put out outwardly.
And what person has happened in your life that brought you to this space of wanting to explore? I know you're that Scorpio, that natural detective, but that personal transformation, if you will, because I think it's got to start with you. Like in order to be interested in bringing it other people with it, it's got to.
Yes, well, I mean, that again is I was able to really feel my gift, especially when I'm interacting with others, and helping people through certain things. And that was like we all have a superpower, right? A superhero power, and I think that is one of mine. The
Yeah,
ability to help people and be that bridge and that catalyst for them. So that is something that I've seen ongoing. So I've thought to further that. And as I did further that with education and programs and certifications, I was able to really clarify that, yes, I'm in my sweet spot. This is where I need to be. I
well,
felt that it totally resonated with me. It feels like I'm just an extension of myself. So, and I actually helped myself through this, James. With utilizing all of my techniques and principles that I do know. I lost Keith, my husband. I was married to Keith for 19 years,
mhm.
and I lost him 2 years ago. Um, so that was extremely difficult for me. But I was able to feel what I needed to feel, but also take myself through that process, although it was very uncomfortable. And that with the help of my very good friends.
Your own work. You had to use what you walk your talk, and you walk your talk, and that was an incredible learning
That
experience.
is that is right, and I think that's one of the reasons why that he and I had, this time together was so I could really feel what that is, so I can share that with others on a very personal, empathetic level,
Totally agree.
and really pinpoint because
Yeah,
I went through that.
Danavi's not going to say it to everybody, but she's really a very strong woman. But you're such. I always say an old soul because the old souls have the hardest lessons. I mean, really,
Mm.
you have had intensity going on. So I mean, you really, what a great master teacher. Seriously,
Thank you,
really.
James. Yes, I appreciate that, and yes, I will agree to that because it has been, very interesting and uphill. But now I can say I'm in a good spot because it levels out,
It
and
was
with everyone, I think everyone can identify with this. You have your intensity, but then it comes back down to a steady state.
right.
And that is something that we all like. We all like that horizon line and that steady state of
True.
things.
People noticed that my doggie was behind me. She was just editing my latest book,
Oh,
so she was. I told her to read it, and she was taking out what she didn't like. She's a puppy. How about questions like this, Sanabia? Because a lot of people ask questions over, for many years that I've worked with, and these types of questions about themselves and empowerment that I'd love to maybe get some questions for you.
sure.
Here you go.
Great.
Um, Funny, Renee, I was going to pick Abby. Very
Oh,
psyched.
wow. Hi, Abby.
How do you get past that trauma that is impacting your life? I find that the one event has impacted me throughout my life.
Hmm. Well, the interesting thing with trauma is that it gets so deeply set and rooted into your brain, and it sort of creates the loop. Trauma is a loop that goes through the physical body, a psychosomatic, and it goes and loops through it. So once and it could be any trauma, and you would find yourself being impacted as you are throughout your life, responding in the same way that you would to trauma. So this is an excellent question because there is a technique that I use with my clients for trauma specifically. And what it does is it helps take the loop of the trauma and break it, and bye bye. And we send it away. It releases from the body and it is gone. And we work with that and we lock it in to make sure that that is activating our reticular activation system. And that's that. But that is an excellent question because I think all of us, to some degree, have trauma in our lives, and we wonder, like, how are we ever going to get out of this? So that's an excellent question, Abby. Thank you for asking that. I hope I answered that in a way that was good enough for you.
And when people come with trauma, and it depends, I guess, the trauma, but there is that cycle, that
Oh yeah,
roundedness.
because physically, literally, that energy loops through the body. Right and left hemispheres of the brain are constantly being, taken through. So what happens here is that we need to release that from that synapse function and let it go, and then be free of that.
Let me ask you, Navi, when you meet certain people or clients, I know you have so many different types of clients. Um, what is there like a main thing that they come for, that the sessions that you offer? Because I know you have three different programs, three different types of.
Well, it varies. Something trauma, that's something very intense that shows up. If you want to look at it from a physical point of view, I have an accountability program.
That's what I was asking, the accountability.
Yeah,
That was really interesting. Tell us about that.
program, and that program is set up just for accountability. And a lot of folks come to me with, oh, I'm running a marathon, or I'm going on vacation. I'd like to have my body in a certain way, or I need to start my book. Can you help me meet my requirements on my weekly list so I can be accountable for my time, so I can have progress and go forward?
So do you
So
set up goals, set up progress reports and things like that? Is that how it works?
what was that, hon?
You set up like progress reports, or you set up goals with them, and then there's like
Yeah,
a.
no, we go through it together. We find out what we need firstly, what it
Right.
is that what you need accountability for, and then we structure the meetings around the time frame of when you need this done. And what happens is we have a bulleted homework that we do. I'll call it homework. We can label it whatever you want.
Yeah.
And every week I meet with you and you tell me all of those bulleted items that we went over that you would do. So I'm there as an accountability. So there are three T's. There's tactical, tenacious, and timeline.
Love that.
So the three T's we're going to follow with that quick shift program. We're going to be tactical about it, tenacious in the way you're going to be tenacious in a way with it by being there for yourself, showing up for yourself, and being accountable when I'm not there. And then along the timeline that is required that we went over together. And then we show up and you tell me what you did accomplish and what you had troubles with and where we need to improve, make changes, and for the next, grid for the next time we meet.
Yeah,
So,
I remember I said to you several years back, I said, you should do some of the accountability. Like, oh, I am already. I said, well, I must be picking up because you'd be very good at that. You go, I did. That's part of my program.
and
So
that's what my personal training years, a long time ago, it was always, helping my clients be accountable for their bodies and how they were going about restructuring the bodies. But accountability just goes all across the board in your life. And I needed an accountability coach for my own book that I wrote.
of course,
So yeah,
uh,
so I needed that too. We all need a little zhuzh.
here at Tanette Calderon, are you able to help someone so that if the same incident that gave you trauma happens again, you can know how to go through it easier and without as much negativity or depression, etc.?
That is a phenomenal question, Tanette. How are you doing? Yeah, so as I was stating earlier, I think the trauma does, it loops through. And if the incidents are occurring again, you might respond the same way as you did the very first time. So, firstly, we'll have to look at what are the incidents and why do they occur on a repeated basis, and are you able to avoid them? And then, if not, then we will find a way to do that through the technique I have to release trauma from the right left hemispheres of the body. And when the incident happens again, you most likely will not be responding in the same way. So therefore, you will go through it easier, and your level of response in a negative way will diminish quite a bit because that is your desire.
But you also, and now you're going into the internet, so I'm going to just make sure we get a lot of what you said. You also mentioned, though, and I would think that trauma comes up. Obviously, they're in a very different space. If they did the work they did the first time around, then maybe it would obviously a different perspective they'd have the second time. And if they haven't done the work, then maybe the reaction will be different. But you also mentioned before that actually in the brain there's a physical chemical change in the
Hmm.
brain that occurs as
That is
well.
right. That is right. So we have to, with trauma, because I went through a certain amount of trauma myself, and I know that that is a proven thing that needs to be done, empirically proven, how that needs to happen. So if you can you can repeat these, the incidences can be repeated. However, how you show up to meeting those might be totally different
And
because of
also, do you also wonder, like, you? I don't know if you asked the person. I'm sure you do. What are the lessons that you're learning from this trauma, and why do you choose to? Why does it keep on showing up, or whatever? And I'm sure you've had people say, "What you probably resented if you act a different way or react a different way? Let's see what would happen."
Yeah, exactly right. That's exactly right. And that's what we said initially. Let's identify why this keeps on repeating. And I think what happens when you find that you have let go of trauma,
Yeah,
you automatically become empowered.
yeah,
Automatically.
it's very
You can
true.
take it back. It is
You don't need it
control
anymore.
your
You don't have
own.
to be holding on to, and it
Oh,
doesn't affect every other area of your life, doesn't it? It
exactly.
dirties it
Oh,
dirties
yes.
every other area of your life. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
that's
And if you wanted to, go look through the life zone, I mean, it hits all the important spaces of your life. So it is important to acknowledge that, and whoever's on that journey, hats off to you, because it is very, I would say, honorable to do something like that, to take that conscious step
yeah.
to assisting himself.
Not
Great
easy,
job.
but
Great
it's that
question.
yeah, it's that sense of helping yourself and living your best self for
That's
sure.
right.
Yeah. Ann Rogers, well, intergenerational trauma be released altogether, or are these lays that have to be worked on a series of sessions?
Well, yes, nothing is done. Firstly, hello, Anne.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for this great question. And I love your roses, by the way. Very significant. So, okay, so yes, there are layers that need to be worked. And this is not done overnight, where everyone's used to one, two, three, and we're done. No, 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 no.
And
This is a three
it's
to
not worth
six
it one
month
session.
process.
The process.
This is a 3 to 6 month process. If you go to my website, and I'll just say this, I have different programs up there: life optimization, life transformation, and you will see that within there. So, but yes, there
And it's a
are
commitment now.
levels.
It's a commitment to make. It's a commitment
Oh, it's a
in
commitment to
yourself,
yourself, absolutely, and it takes
and
a
you're
little
worth.
bit.
Yeah, you're
So
worth.
Ian was correct with saying yes. It does get released at some point, but there are different stages of that and layers of it that we need to sort of uncover, because there's different traumas and how you respond.
And don't you find that once you, it's
Right,
like a layer of an onion. Once you release one thing, something else shows up, and we got to
right.
work on that. And something else might show up. Oh, that made that happen, and that reacted. Oh, that. So
So
that
just yes,
happened.
so it's an onion. So back to just one more last thing, the intergenerational. That what will happen is based on how you integrate that into your life, and how you're changing this integration, and how that integration, excuse me, is changing within your trauma. You then show up differently, and therefore your DNA totally shifts by that, because now you've changed the trauma. You broke the cycle, so to speak. So there's a lot there. There is a lot there, and yes, and it takes 3 to 6 months to get that really.
I'm not just a funny business question, if you will. Demographic wise, men, women 30 older, 45 older, young women, young men. What's it runs the gamut.
Anyone and everyone. I think as you get older, you get more in touch with what it is that's really kicking at you or ticking at
Right,
you.
holding you
Like,
back,
so like
holding you
an
back,
8 year,
right?
what was that, hon?
Holding you back.
Holding you
You get
back.
more in touch with
Yeah.
something. What's holding you back, or why you're not
Yeah,
living your best life? What's holding you back from optimizing your life? And
that's right.
and, and I think it takes a lot of, as we just talked about,
So
a lot of
yeah, I could
courage.
work with an 8-year-old who wants to do something for tap dance, but then I can work with a 80-year-old and learn from that person as well, and work with them, because everything, like I said, is highly personalized. So nothing is duplicated, and everything is just showing up dynamically as it should for that individual at that moment, period. So that is the great thing that I get to witness. I get to see all of this change all the way through. It's really great. I'm so happy. I am so happy doing this for people, because it's just the love that I have, the universal love that we all have for each other. And I get to, receive that and give that to and share it. So that's amazing. It's just amazing process.
What have been one of your most? I mean, you've had a lot of them, but one that stands out in experience with, if you're able to talk about a session or experience with some of this really.
I'm going to go back to again when someone has a loss,
Yeah,
of a person.
yeah,
I have a very dear person, a dear friend of mine and client, who just recently had tremendous loss in their lives, and it was very difficult. What I was able to do is help her understand where she needed to move through her grief. And that was so, because I felt it myself, you know. So when you line up with your grief in a certain way, and whatever level that is, it really becomes like ease filled and satisfying, you know. It's so that for me was like one
it's
of the
amazing.
most rewarding
Isn't it?
things.
Grief is a
But
great lesson.
yes, I mean, when you understand when you're working with people, they feel so relieved when they speak with you, although that their loved ones have passed away, they have this sense of peace and ease because they've connected with you. So with working with me, this person, she worked with me and she had the ease and peace through this grief, which was the most beautiful thing to feel and witness because I too felt that. So I'm saying that that was one of the standouts for me. That
Yeah.
was one to answer your question.
Yeah,
Mm.
and as you're talking, it's just I find it so interesting because I don't know, this image just comes to me, and you're a part of my life. Is that when you're on the road of life and you take these curves and these bends in the road, these hills, and these lows, and rocky road and smooth road, and then there are signposts in the road, and for me, you've been a signpost when I took the curve, and literally when I moved here, and there you were. I mean, it's like wow, and that kind of work, what? And then people that you've worked with, and just your, I mean, everybody that meets you, just whether it's a restaurant, whether it's socially, I mean, it's just your energy is so vibrant, and they just, they're just who you are, and you're so empathetic and kind, and you get people. I mean, you know people.
I
It's
do.
pretty amazing. I've been at a social function job, and she goes, that person over there, mm-mm, nope, okay, and sure enough, find out later on, 100%. So you use um, your intuition. I would say what percent of your intuition you use, but you can't measure because it's who you are,
Part of
right?
who I am. It's a part of who I am, and it's something that I really don't. You have to say outwardly. I don't have to identify that. It's just part of the process. Again, it's personalized for the person, so it has really nothing to do with my intuition. But I'm
Right.
able to use certain aspects of my gifts to lead the person with certain direct questions that are needed to aid them to extract information and to get to where they need to be.
And how many times people say, I was just thinking of that, or oh my God, how do you know that?
No, seriously, every day. Like I'll go to text someone. Oh my gosh, I was just about to text you. Well, it happens with us all the time, you know.
We do it every day. We do it all the time. Yeah, it happens to us. But
Yeah.
you on a regular basis, you do. Uh, Geraldine Hickey, hi
Okay.
guys. How do we get more info on how to eliminate prior trauma, please?
Oh,
Well,
well,
Denavia has a lovely website.
yes, I have a lovely website, and I didn't in the website. You're not going to see anything in there specifically under trauma, but it does. If you wanted to look at the types of programs that I do have.
And tell us about
Um,
them, right, because I'd like to hear them
Yeah,
and share
no.
them.
Well, there are two programs. Well, actually three. I think I just discussed one with you, which was the Quick Shift program
Quick
for
shift. I love it.
accountability.
Love
Yeah,
it.
and then I have life optimization. And before I forget, I want to get back to her question and life transformation. But so yeah, so the programs that I have there are one of them is to maximize your success, and that's life optimization. And we go through certain things that you need, whatever it is. We have an in-depth conversation about what it is that you want, and then we go and blueprint through life zones, and we create a new map for you. But again, it's highly personalized without getting too detailed because I would be here a very long time with you if I sat down and explained all of it. But again, the web, sorry for all the shaking. I just hit my knee against the table and it wasn't comfortable. I'm
Ow!
sorry.
And you wrote
But
a book. She has a book called Shift to Awake, Ignite Your Life, which is
yes,
an excellent book. So that's you also have that book, which there it
right.
is right there.
That's my book, Shift to Awaken. And that's looking at the roles in your life and the behaviors that are attached to those roles. You might have 5 or 6 roles going on, and behaviors are attached to those roles, and you loop through those throughout your whole life until your roles change. So that's an interesting book. That was a great book to write. But yeah, so you can find more information about the types of programs that I have. There are 3, and navigating change through life transformation is another one. So you will, ultimately go through and choose which one is which. And
Right now, you want to put up her website? That'd be great. It's Jonathan's website.
yeah, and then I actually will sit down with you and have a 30-minute, 20 to 30-minute free consultation with you and sit down and see if that's something that you want to do, if I'm a right fit for you,
And Denali
or
that will say
if you're a right fit.
no BS. She will say, you know what? I don't know if this is going to work out for me or you.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I've
there's
got
going
a
to
right
be,
person. She'll tell you that. I mean, that's why she's on the show because she has integrity like crazy. And
yeah. Well, thank you, James. No, I'm very honest and forthright. I don't want to waste anyone's time. And my famous saying is, I don't want to waste any keystrokes. Period.
anyway,
So
you know
any
what?
keystrokes. I don't want to have any wasted keystrokes. And I don't want to waste anyone's keystrokes either. So that's the reason for this 20, 30-minute sit down. I would say sit down. And we chat about what it is that you need. We feel each other's energy, see if it works, and then we can go from there.
And you see if it's realistic or not, right?
Yeah, I mean,
about if this is real.
I think everything that someone has in their mind is realistic because it's real to them.
Yeah.
How we can navigate through that, maybe we'll find another reality through it.
Yeah. Do you do Zoom sessions? Someone's asking.
That's exactly right. Right now, I'm not having any in-person clients or meetings yet. Everything is done through a Zoom platform. So that's really nice because I'll be able to even go through some of the exercises with you in real time, and we'll both be able to stand up because there's a lot of physicality involved in NLP as well. So so I'm able to do these meetings very efficiently through Zoom. And if I have the fortune of sitting down with you in a one-to-one, that would be even great too. And that's coming.
And a couple of things here. Cindy Lichbaum says, I as well lost my husband 28 years to COVID. Here's November 2020. As in turn, had to sell my home and move to California where I have some family. I've been in a dark place, but felt that recently my grief was not as overwhelming. But then this past Saturday, I witnessed a coyote attack and killed my precious fur baby. Oh, I'm so sorry. Where do I begin to get through my grief when I feel I have lost everything? You're such a spirit. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, Cindy.
Well, I'll leave that to you.
Oh no, Cindy. Firstly,
Really,
my heart is with you, and I know James feels the same exact way.
yeah.
It's very, very difficult and very traumatic. Cindy, allow yourself to feel right now. You have to, if it's crying, you cry. You have to let yourself at least let some of that out of the tank. It's very important to acknowledge that. You don't want to suppress anything. So that it's very important to acknowledge what you're feeling. If you have to grab a book, journal down what it is that you're feeling and why. Any little thing that you let out will ultimately help you feel that much better because you are actually letting it out in some way. So whether it be crying, shouting, talking to someone, or writing it down, that's number one. That is number one. And then there are so many things that are layered here that I can totally identify with as well. Sharing, love with someone, losing them and having to move. I had to do that as well. Animals are always close to us in so many ways. So we would, if something like that from a traumatic standpoint, we would work through the individual trauma of each situation. And depending on what the first item is of priority that you would like to address out of the few that you named here, that's what we could, talk about and discuss. So there is absolutely a way for you to navigate through this solo before you speak with me or anyone else about this, if that is your choice. But you start there, and then we can take you the rest of the way.
If my,
And my heart, again, Cindy, my gosh,
yeah.
much love to you, and my energy is with you, my love.
And Cindy, I just want to read that you haven't lost everything because you have yourself. So
That's
you
right.
have lost everything, and grief is also it's a hard human experience, really difficult, especially also partner and an animal. A couple of things though, I always say that people never go, or animals never go without leaving gifts behind, and have the courage to open up that gift and see what's inside. Like Maisie, my doggie, left me incredible insight,
Right.
patience, and
Yes.
funny thing I noticed, you put her back where she was there, Renee, in the question. Can you just put her back up there? Yeah. Cindy, yes, there you go. So I want you to notice something. When I looked and I saw your doggy, there's a sign from your dog, because what I'm going to say is, your dog, the picture of your dog is sitting exactly where Pearl is right now, and to me
Oh,
that
oh,
is. And
wow. Right. Wow. That's a
Pearl's never
confirmation.
so that's
Confirmation.
confirmation. So there, Cindy, there's a sign for you right there. I mean, I've
Absolutely.
never had Pearl here before, and there's probably for this. So
Yeah.
interesting. Look for signs because they're always around us, always. But if we're in our seat, and there's my girl right next to you, so there she is. So
Yeah. Oh, look. Hi. Oh,
see,
sweetheart.
so there you go.
You're such a good baby.
That's a good baby.
Someone had said, James, that the website was
Not
wrong.
correct. Yes, Margaret Dash said your website is not correct. What does that mean?
I don't see. I said shift2awaken.com.
Let's check it out. I have my phone.
It's the numeric 2, so I don't know if, but that is correct. Um, but yeah, I just read that there, and
That's right. That they want to shift to awaken. Good.
yeah,
Thanks.
I just
Shift.
wanted to thank
Oh,
those
there you
those
go. People
folks.
email you at Shift to Awaken. And you can also email Dinavia, and you're going to answer people's emails. You say, which I think is amazing that you'll answer all the emails, but you're a busy lady. But Dinavia will do that. So, shift to awaken at gmail.com, and please be serious about, and because Dinavia is a very special person, and make sure
Yeah,
that
keystrokes.
keystrokes. I love that. Keystrokes. It's really, really good. Fantastic. And it's so funny. What do you think? Well, number two, two parts of transforming one's life, just like two
What-
things. I know there's more. Two most important things of transformation. Two
Oh,
important aspects of transforming. When
are
someone's a
you-
and there could probably be three things. The two top would you say people that are part of transformation, people that want
well,
to transform.
I think firstly, when the word transformation and how that shows up for me is to firstly, you have to break through the fragmentation of certain things. So when you break through a fragmentation,
The other night, that was great. The
yeah.
fragmentation.
So I think when you're fragmented or have some fragmentation going on, if that is the issue, you have to sort of pinpoint what that is, and then sort of work with that so you can have clarity, right? So I think clarity is a big part of transformation, because then you get to see exactly where you want to be and how you want to transform. So you know where you want to go, or you know who you want to be, or whatever that is. So having that clarity, through the lens of, looking at the fragmentation aspect of it, clarity, and then becomes the stillness to know what is next towards that transformation. And then shift happens.
So stillness is the second, you'd say.
The clarity after so it's looking at the fragmentation, then you need some sort of, clarity. And then once the clarity is there, stillness happens, peace, stillness, and then you can hear.
Or the calm, clarity and
Yeah.
the calm.
Yeah, and then you could really know what's going on, because you're looking at it now from a very focused point rather than a fragmented. Right. So that is a very big key. Those are the components I think that would be very big part of transformation.
Yeah, and what I would say with healing, the first step of healing is awareness, which is exactly clarity. That's exactly right. The first step of healing is clarity. It's awareness. It's awareness. When you're aware, you look at it in a different way. It's very, very true.
And that's,
Renee, would you please put up Dinavia's email again and keep that up, because people would like to email her if you could please, sir. Appreciate that. And
Yeah, with the emails, I just wanted to say that I probably won't be able to get in depth with you as far as answering questions and stuff like that because I have clients that I have to deal with a lot. But that would be, just to get to know you kind of thing, and when we could set up our call. But feel free on the website itself to contact me through that. There is a page for contact me as well. So go to the contact me page, and it links to the same Gmail. But don't tell
shift
anyone.
number 2 away at Gmail. Okay.
I will receive your email and we will get together and chat for sure, in person if we can, Zoom and or telephone call. Yep.
And now one of my girlfriends, Dinavia, besides you, Nadine. Hello, Dinavia. Would you say we have to go through some of the same traumas in life to learn something more about our life way? I mean, there it is. I mean, when somebody has heavy losses in life, could this happen because this person has to find the way to work as a medium to help other people with their grief? Not necessarily a medium, I'd say, Nadine, but other fields, perhaps, right? I mean, traumas in life to learn something about their life path. I would
Right.
say yes. What do you think?
Okay, so I have to deconstruct. Oh, there it is. Hello, Divin. Oh, okay, Dinavia. Would you say that we have to go through the same traumas in life to learn something? Okay, so whenever anything is repeated in our lives, beautiful Nadine. Hello, beautiful. I love
She's
your, by the way.
beautiful.
She's stunning, stunning. Yes, whenever you repeat something, it then becomes familiar to you. It is a familiar landscape. So you're always going to see something in there that maybe doesn't feel too right with you because maybe you learned about it and then here you are repeating it again. So, going through anything repetitive will give you some sort of insight as to what is going on. And then when you have a heavy loss, that is also part of an experience within itself. We have loss on every level. We could lose jobs, we can lose animals, any loved ones or anything like that, even objects. So whenever you have a loss to some degree, you feel a little bit of lack, and with that lack, we don't like to feel that at all, like we're missing something, because obviously we're not. We're completely whole. But if you're applying that loss to something and then being able to say, okay, I know what that feels like, now let me tune in to see how I can change that feeling if it's not agreeable to me. And I can also go back and look at the repetitive patterns that I was repeating from the traumas and use that as well, and equip myself properly to navigate forward through grief. And if you are a medium, just like James is, and yourself, Nadine, you will really be able to utilize your gifts and specifically what you're trained for from an authentic level, to therefore know and discern from yourself what is correct, and what is the maybe not the best way to go. So it all depends on how you want to apply. That's a very open-ended question that I'm giving you, an answer to your question, but I think it's pretty accurate as far as how to identify the parts of that and how to go through it from an intuitive standpoint, and also a point from an experience.
And also, I think, if I put my 2 cents in here, I think there are certain traumas that we go through in life that, push our buttons maybe. And
Oh,
I think trauma we learn things from, but there are certain ones that really push us to the limits because we really got to learn something about ourselves and the
yes,
world.
traumas and people who we don't even know could just show up and push a button.
Right?
Or five, let
And
alone
it's
the
not
people
about
that
you,
you live with.
it's not with them, really. It's not, it's got
Yeah,
nothing to
and
do with
that's
you.
actually,
It's going on with
yeah,
them.
but they're pushing. And what happens is, yes, your trigger is that trauma. It triggers that trauma that's been locked in there, looping around your body, and you're going to respond as you respond to trauma. Period. Right? It might be some people respond to trauma by running away. Some might respond to it by yelling. Whatever way you respond to trauma, you're going to respond to the stimuli that is happening in front of your face at that moment. So the button being pushed, so to speak. So it's something to really get a more of an empowered control over that, and letting those responses go that are not serving you. If I had more time, I would tell you about this response I had this week with my own lovely, lovely child. But I learned a lot from that. That was something.
Everything's learning. Every single day we learn.
Absolutely.
Before we go, I also wanted to talk about how, so Denavia and I met when Lynn Probert and I did the workshop together. And
Man.
happened that Lynn Probert's coming back in 2 weeks. And Lynn Probert and I are going to be doing a week's workshop again here in Carlsbad.
Yes.
And we're going to use the love of mediumship and that energy that spirits come through with. And it's going to be a different type of workshop because we're just really about loving that contact. There it is right there. That's a 5-day workshop, Carlsbad, by Lynn Probert and me, myself. And we're going to do a demonstration in Orange County. And so, Dinavia, you have to see Lynn because she's always asking.
I cannot wait to see Lynn. I'm looking forward to seeing her.
How was that lovely lady? How was that lovely girl?
Lady. Oh,
Yeah.
I love her.
This Friday, everybody, I'm doing I'm also doing a workshop. I'm doing a demonstration this Friday night, October 7th, 4 o'clock.
Awesome.
And I'm doing a night of readings. And
Wow.
between now and then, I probably have to go back to New York to bring a friend who's ill back to New York and then do a turnaround and come back home. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. I'll be getting off a plane Friday morning. So yeah, we'll do it. It'll be an interesting time. So I'm going to try to do something that's really fascinating. What I'm going to do is on the flight back of 4 hours, I'm going to sit and meditate and open myself up to spirit.
Oh, right.
And write notes down and see that night, Friday night, if any of those notes that I have apply to people in the room. That's what I'm going to work.
Wow. That's awesome.
Come on.
Yes.
A lot of my books I've done, actually, when I've been on a plane and we used to travel, I used to get a lot of inspiration from spirit in the books. Even Talking to Heaven, my first book, the title came when I was flying. The cover of Talking to Heaven came when I was in Brasilia, Brazil, flying through the cumulus clouds. And so I get a lot of my stuff from when I'm on a plane. So I'm going to try that for this Friday night.
That's
so Thursday. Would that be kind of cool?
Oh, that sounds so great. I love that.
Right?
I love that.
I can't wait to experience it. So that's this
you're
Friday.
closer. You're closer to the download. It doesn't have to
Exactly. I wrote a musical, and all the music came through to me on a plane, and I just went home, put on a recorder, and make a long story short, a friend of mine has a nephew that kind of transposed it, and I brought that to a producer in New York, and she said, "Who is this? Is this Liszt or is this Beethoven?" And I said, "It's me." What? So anyway, hasn't been fulfilled yet because something else went on with it, which I'm still working on. But that's the inspiration. Awesome, seems to come to that level. So anyway, but thank you so much.
Well, James, I thank you so much, and thank you for having me here and get to connect with these lovely people, and the few that I did. Thank you so much for asking me those questions, and I look forward to working with you guys. And I love you, James.
Thanks. I love you too, Dinavia. We'll have you back when Kelly's around too.
That'd be great. Kelly, I can't wait to see Kelly back. I'm looking forward to seeing her for sure. That beautiful lady.
Very good. Thanks, everybody. See you next time. Thanks, Renee. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kelly White.
That was great. Maybe we changed some lives.
And maybe opened up some minds.
Which way do I turn?
Right. I mean left.
The James and Kelly Show.